Welcome back to Hollywood Impact. It's been a little bit, and it's been a little bit since you've been here, actually.
It has.
Since Wicked, hasn't it? Yeah, that was the
Has
last
it been
thing.
Wicked?
I think Wicked was the last thing
my.
we probably did. At least to my knowledge. I might be wrong.
No, I think you're right.
But we're here to talk about Severance Season 2, which we're so excited to talk about. I picked this show up off of a recommendation off of a YouTube video probably like a month ago, maybe not quite, and it floored me. Absolutely floored me.
Oh, yeah.
And Season 2 is no exception.
No, I had some family recommend it, and I will tell you, I was skeptical at first.
Yeah, I was too.
I just didn't know what to think about it, because I know they said that the Apple TV series have always been good. And the first episode of Severance for even Season 1, I was like, okay. Got to episode 2, then I realized I was on episode 4, and that meant I was hooked. I was there for the long run.
He's like, I'm in.
And so, Season 1 ended, and I'm thinking, oh no, it's over. And I hear, oh, wait a second, I have 2 days until the new season comes out? So I caught it on a good time.
Season 2 is really good, and usually here we like to break things down into 4 categories, and that goes the performances, the story, the atmosphere, and the impact, which is something special to us, kind of its lasting effects on us and our actual, in-depth thoughts. Let's go ahead and get started with the performances. The performances are insanely good in this show. There's a lot of characters from other smaller projects that are the stars in this show, and even the antagonists and everything are just absolutely. There's nobody in the show I can think of as being not exceptional in this show. Everyone does a great job.
Yeah, if we're just going down to the characters themselves, the best part is you get each one of their stories. You get highly engrossed in each person there. And it's not even ones that are on the severance floor. You get people from the severed people's lives.
Yes.
You get it inside and outside. And generally that's hard to keep track of. I could probably explain each and every character, at least within Season 2, and what's happened to each one of them.
It'd be easy for us to go in depth.
Oh, yeah.
About every character, what's going on. But that is actually not the point of this. The point of this is to recommend to you, is this show worth streaming or skipping? And with the performances, the standouts here, first of all, the guy who's from Park, I don't remember what his real life name is. My bad. The guy who plays Mark S.
I don't know his name either.
I don't remember his
but
name.
I know he's from Park.
Yeah, he's from Parks and Rec, but he is really good in this show. Of course, everyone is too, but he's definitely a standout. I didn't realize he was capable of playing such a dramatic, downtrodden character. But for me, a lot of the standouts, absolutely for me, is the guy who plays Mr. Milchick.
Oh my
He's
gosh.
insanely good. So good. All of his scenes are absolutely captivating. And John Turturro, who's on Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? He's on Transformers. He's usually a comedy guy.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
As Irving in this show is such an interesting character. And the dynamic that he brings to the group, I think, is really interesting because each person brings their own thing to the story. So
I've never seen him take... Because you were talking with Transformers, the first time I watched it, I saw Irving. I'm like, he's from Transformers. Oh, he's going to be the comedic relief. Completely wrong.
Yeah, he's not.
Completely wrong.
No, he's the opposite of the comedic relief.
He is the master of drama.
Yeah, he is.
And it's such a... the thing is, you see somebody in that role for so long of just being the comedic relief, the comedian, that you go, okay, you're expecting this, or if they switch it, you're kind of nervous.
Yeah.
It seemed like he played that role his entire life.
Exactly.
He had no problem switching over to that sort of character.
Everything was just done so well. And for those of you who don't know, the general plot of Severance is there are these people who sign up to get these chips in their brain, which separates their work life from their home life. They're essentially 2 different people. The people who are at work, when you're at work, you don't remember anything from outside the walls.
Those are the ennies.
Yeah, not really who you are, not who you've talked to, nothing. And there's no communication allowed between the two. And then the outies also have a completely different life and don't remember anything from work, and they're only told things through company gifts and letters and things like that. Like, hey, you fell and you hit your head, so here's a gift card to Andy's, something like that.
And in reality, it could be something much worse, or it could just be the exact thing happened. You'll never know. Only your Annie will know what happened at work.
With the story, how this one pans out is it's building upon the building blocks of the first outing, and it does it effectively, where you're learning bits and pieces about the Egan's and what they're about, and more about the characters' outside lives. You get a lot of Mark S's outside life in the first one. Now you get a lot more of everybody else's as well. And with those pieces, every person brings a piece to the puzzle that starts building the big picture. And the story here and the way it's written out is fascinating and engaging and just straight up outstanding. I believe this is one of the best shows I've seen in a long time, bar none.
The one thing that captivated me most was the camera angles.
Yeah.
The way they and obviously you've seen it in other movies, but the way they've implemented it into a TV show to make it feel like that movie quality, it was insane.
So good.
Especially
insane.
Because obviously whenever it comes to the people switching between their innies and outies, you get that moment to where you can visibly see them switch.
Yes.
I was not ready for that the first time I saw it. It wasn't even a camera angle. All they did was, because you're thinking, okay, how are we going to notice that these people switch in between? And it's not even the actors, phenomenal job acting like it, because you can see that it's not a pleasant process. It is not a pleasant process whenever it happens. I didn't feel like one character got more screen time than the other.
No.
You feel that in shows.
Everyone has an equal part to play in here.
Even if one character, we're with them for 20 minutes, we're with this one for 10 minutes, it seems like you get equal amount of time.
They do not hold your hand.
No.
So if you're coming into this expecting just this to be like a background thing to watch, it's not. You have to pay attention. You have to look at the details. So that's just one of the very just cool things about this show.
We'll change it to a 5-hour video next time.
But we need to move on to the next category, which is the atmosphere. That includes the audio, the music, the visuals, all of the things that enhance the entire experience. And just like how we had kind of started talking about it, they're insane. The intro is like intriguing, yet it's kind of creepy. It creeps my wife out quite a bit. The visual and the audio cues that they pair with everything is enough to keep you engaged constantly. Because sometimes you feel like you're watching a horror show, but then it kind of goes back and it's like, nah, we're just like a drama show. Then it'll go back into like that horror aspect and you're like, what is going on? But it's not to its detriment. The confusion of its tones complement each other rather than contrast each other.
Yeah.
They work with each other to keep you engaged and to keep you pondering, like, okay, this just happened and it was kind of chill. And then this really weird thing happened. And then they go back to the chill thing. And then because you can't get over what just happened, you have to sit there and watch and wait for that other thing to be resolved. And there's a lot of questions that are still unanswered even after this season. And even some of the questions they did answer made more questions.
Yeah, it did.
So it's an ongoing thing, but we're so excited for season 3, and I think that's a good reason to go into the last category, which is the impact. I love this show. This is the part where we kind of tell you, like, should you stream it? Should you skip it? I think you should absolutely stream this show.
Absolutely. No
100%.
question about it. No hesitation. It's a must watch.
If you like TV, and if you like good things, and if you like watching show and watching thing on big TV screen, do it. Because it doesn't matter what you're into. There are so many people I've seen and heard who like a plethora of different hobbies and interests. They all agree this show's great. I've yet to hear somebody dislike this show.
It's a phenomenal show. It's been years since we've had a show that I feel like captivated this much people.
Oh my gosh.
Where everyone can agree that it is just, I mean, I can't even say it's a good show. It's a great show.
Excellent
I've
show.
never been bored with any episode.
There were a couple of episodes, specifically in season 2, which is, I guess, what we're talking about. There were a couple of odd ones.
Yes.
One that has to do with
Mrs. Cobell?
Mrs. Cobell.
Yep.
And her episode is a little bit on the strange side where I ended that and I was like, I don't know if I love that episode, but
I enjoyed
good
that
news,
one.
the other 9 episodes were excellent, so that's still pretty good praise.
And that's the thing, too. Like, with you didn't enjoy that one answered so many questions for me.
Which is fine.
Yeah, and that's why I loved the episode. Like, and yes, it was very weird. I wondered what was happening the whole time, but once it got to the end, I was like, okay, this is what's happening now.
Yes, it still pushed the story along. It wasn't unnecessary.
It was not
a
the
necessary portion of the story to tell.
It was not the best episode, by all means.
It was not the best episode, I promise you.
But it was a good episode. One that, that's the thing, if that episode would not have been part of the show wouldn't be able to progress as smoothly, too.
Sure.
You needed that episode.
Yeah.
It's not like a random filler because they lost track of what they were doing or, they just needed to get an episode out. No.
It was purposeful. Full props to Ben Stiller, though, for being a highly comedic actor who's making a horror, thriller, intrigue show. I mean, it blends a few of those genres together, but he does it so masterfully. Like, everything about the show is like, even the episodes that I feel like aren't as good doesn't detract from how good the show is because they're necessary. I may not love, like, the direction or the character may not be the most interesting, but because it still furthers the plot, and because it's necessary and it answers questions and leaves you with more questions, it still was engaging.
Yeah.
And each episode had its own story to tell of sorts.
It did.
So good. So good.
Yeah, it's a must. It's a must.
It's a must watch. Please watch it. But anyways, that's all the time we got for you today. Thank you so much for joining us. We hope that you have a great rest of your day.
And that you watch the show.
Please watch the show. All right. Bye-bye.